Happy Macabre Mondays, creeps. Get excited. Do you hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of a lawnmower. That's fantastic. We're not recording audio, guys, here, and that's the sound of Monday morning. So, hey, Monday morning lawn mowing. Get your week started with some death. It's my birthday week this week, guys, and so I went to Catalina Island because I wanted a romantic getaway of awesome and drinks and sunshine. That's why I'm golden. You're welcome. And you know what? I thought it was this leisurely, beautiful Hollywood Island getaway. No, it's full of death. So much death that I was almost crying of happiness because every corner, every step, you're either on a body, a murder site, or, you know, walking through a ghost. Catalina Island, guys. Unbelievable. So, of course, we're going there for Macabre Mondays this week, y'all. We're going to the Catalina Casino, aka the Avalon Theater. Get your freaking drink, gin and tonic. So I'm back on the island, y'all. Let's get islandy. Before we jump into the casino, we gotta talk about Catalina Island because it's on this island, and this island is a huge part of the story because it's kind of just like a giant cemetery. Honestly, it's been inhabited. That's such a hard word to say. Inhabited at least for 8,000 years. Okay, predominantly by Native Americans, obviously. 3 different tribes predominantly lived on the island. One of them was known for having most of their tribe members be around 7 feet tall, and they were highly religious. You know, being highly religious, they had obviously some religious ceremonies and beliefs. One of them was that where you died is where you were buried. So if I died right here in this chair, I would have to be buried right here. So randomly all over the island, there's just bodies buried underneath. Well then, you know, Central Avenue, the main avenue of Avalon, the city of Avalon, the main port on the island, their water main broke in the 70s. And so they had to dig it up, you know, to fix the water main. And lo and behold, thousands of Native American skeletons are under there, just thousands of them. And they're like, no biggie, y'all, let's just move the skeletons over here because we got to fix this. And then they just randomly put them back in a totally mismatched manner, not where they originally were. So yeah, go there, ask the store owners about their ghostly side, because there was this really crazy guy named Dr. Glidden or Glydian. Locals called him Uncle Ralph. Don't know what that's about. He was basically a faux, fake, charlatan type archaeologist who came and was like, I'm an archaeologist. And he started digging up all of these Native American skeletons, and he actually found this crazy site. And of course, he didn't record where it was because he wasn't an actual archaeologist, so he didn't know the practices and what you're supposed to do. So he freaking finds this giant mass burial of like 60 something small children skeletons all in a circle with a girl, a 10-year-old girl in an urn in the center, and one of these 7-foot tall skeletons with a spear through the chest. And the story is that this plague-like sickness swept through this village, right, and killed these children about within a 2-day span. So they were convinced they had done something to upset their gods. So what they did was they buried all these children's skeletons in a circle, sacrificed a 10-year-old girl, put her in this urn, and then, you know, either like sacrificed or somebody killed themselves, and then that's what it was. But nobody knows where the skeletons are now because this Dr. Glidden opened up what he referred to as the Bone Bungalow on one of the main streets in town, and just, you know, just kind of like, just put them, you know, a candle, like a femur as a candlestick type of situation. Just bones everywhere, bones. It was a tourist destination, and honestly, nobody knows the bones of the children are, so they're probably mixed in somewhere amongst that bunch. I mean, literally, you could go in there and, like, you could buy gag gifts, like a human cranium with, like, pencils in it. Like, it was a joke to him. Like, all these just so sacrilegious, just craziness. So the Avalon Theater. As all historic stories, at one point there's usually a rich white man that comes in the story. Our rich white man in this story is William Wrigley Jr. of the chewing gum, of the, like, you know, the Chicago Cubs. He basically, in 1919, built, basically sight unseen, this chunk of land, or I think actually the entire island of Catalina, from the Bannings, and created the city of Avalon, determined to make it a tourist destination. He succeeded. He even brought the Chicago Cubs out to the island to train. That's some craziness. But they had originally cleared a spot on what was called Sugarloaf Point, where the St. Catherine Hotel was going to be. Later, it's not. It's in Descanso Canyon or whatever that's called. Anyways, not the point. The point is, there was this flat space next to this giant point of rock, and he's like, I'm going to build a dance hall. And I'm going to put in the first high school there because that makes so much sense. I'm going to be a great genius man and put this in here for the people of Avalon. So he put it there. And then by 1928, it was just like, there was too many people. It worked too well. Too many people were coming to the island. So he was like, well, screw this. We need a bigger one. So they raised that one, moved it, and now I think it's like a giant aviary or some craziness, or maybe that's not even true. Honestly, there's something about that. But the point is, he's like, we need to build this giant thing right here, right now. So in 1928, he like commissioned the giant freaking casino, which by doing that, he had to blast away the Sugarloaf Point rock. No big deal. People do that all the time. Yeah, but they're not always tombs. Because see, in this rock, there was caves. And in one of these caves was the tomb of a shaman. They didn't move the body, they just blew it to bits. So, yeah, just like sprinkles on a cupcake, there's little bits of shaman all over the foundation of the casino. Woo! Anyways, the casino took only 14 months to build. It ended up costing $2 million, which for 1928 is an exceptional freaking amount of money. Like, that's an insane amount of money, actually. And it was really interesting how they built it, because they built a giant wooden structure, and then they poured concrete into it. And maybe that's a typical way to do it. But there was an accident because a construction worker, when working on one of the, on one of the towers, they were pouring the liquid cement, and he fell 6 stories of the 12-story building. So yeah, he fell 6 floors onto the 6th, or even lower at that point. Anyways, he fell in the wet cement. He's just laying there, plonk. They tried to get him out. I think they spent like maybe 20 minutes to get him out. Not very long, if you ask me. But they're like, screw it, man. I'm hungry. I need to go to my lunch. Let's just pour the rest of the cement and get this job done. So, yeah, he's encased there, this poor construction worker who's unnamed. And strangely enough, there's a crack running on the side of that pillar or tower, whatever you want to call it, exactly where his body is. So maybe his body's messing up the foundation. Maybe he's pissed off and trying to get retribution on everybody else. Who knows? So Wrigley was like a really smart man. I mean, he was a multimillionaire genius man, so I'm not surprised he made this decision. But he realized, like, whoa, okay, I'm putting all this amount of money in this casino, I'm putting all my eggs in this basket right now. I need to make sure it's the best ever. So he hires John Gabriel Beckman, who actually is this extraordinary man. I mean, he grew up in San Francisco, survived the giant earthquake of 1906 and the fire that followed. He was sent by his parents to Russia to like study at the St. Petersburg Architectural Academy, and he was too young, so like, no, you're a baby. So they, okay, well, we need you to come back to America. His father booked him passage on the Titanic, but the last minute had a thought like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea for whatever reason, and then changed his thing to the Olympic. So he survived. So he basically survived a fire, earthquake, and the Titanic. And he's this mastermind. I mean, he's responsible for why Grauman's Chinese theater looks the way he does. He did the murals and the interiors. And Wrigley's like, I need that guy. I want that guy. So he brings him out. And Beckman gets extremely inspired by the aquatic life. And he thinks, mermaids. We need mermaids. So he paints these beautiful mermaids. These murals that are unbelievable and untouched and unchanged, because they were so well done and so beautiful since it was built. He did the interior design. I mean, it's like this beautiful, like there's no, it's when you walk in there, it's unbelievable. It's got this circular, I mean, the whole thing's circular. The circular hallway, everything's red and plush. There's $10 million worth of walnut wood paneling in this place. The ceiling is this really strange, like, I think stucco technique that's been untouched. It hasn't even need to be touched up because it was so well done. And there's, the number 8 keeps popping up in this place. Like, there's 88 gold leaf stars in the ceilings, and there's 8 points to each stars, and all these 8, 8, 8s, and apparently there's nothing, no symbolism to the numerology of the place. So whatever, interesting little factoid for you. But what it is this theater on the bottom, and it's a ballroom on top. And the acoustics in the theater are absolutely revolutionary. They were basically designed to be the first theater ever for talkies, which is hysterical and hilarious since Charlie Chaplin, the king of silent film, the talkies were his downfall, was a frequenter of the island. I mean, he had this huge affair on the freaking island. That was like his second home, Catalina. And here's this beautiful monument totally designed for what brought down his career. Kind of sad. But anyways, and then you have the ballroom, which is a circular, almost like Casper-like space. I don't even know how to describe it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. There's no pillars in it, so you have a good view of the band from any direction. This place held up to like 6,000 people once. I mean, you know how many dreams were probably made and lost in that place? Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, freaking, again, Charlie Chaplin. Everybody who was anybody and everybody partied at the casino, watched films at the casino, saw live plays. I mean, they still do plays. Theater, I mean, obviously plays are theater. They do everything in show films in this theater, and the acoustics are so freaking awesome that people from Radio City Music Hall, when they were trying to design that place, came out to see how they did it because it was so revolutionary. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When I went into this place, I'm like, I don't want to leave here. This place is great. This place makes me feel like a freaking star. I don't need to do anything. I'm already a star in this place. This is awesome. And I have a feeling that's why so many people like to hang around the casino. First ghost. Well, so I did the tour because I needed to get in, duh. And in the tour, you go into the main theater, you sit down in the very nice, ornate, comfortable chairs, and they show you a little film of Catalina and the casino, and woo, all the celebrities that were there and partied there, and it's so glamorous. Of course, a part of the film is talking about William Wrigley Jr. Well, apparently, what happens after the tour leaves and the tour guide goes back in is they always see a man in a white suit, white cowboy hat, sitting in a theater, even though everything had been previously turned off, and there's a projected image of William Wrigley Jr.'s face. Conceited, cocky, whatever. All we know, it's definitely the undead. This happens so often, apparently, at the tour, like the tour guides just expect it to happen. They know when they walk back in, there's going to be a phantom that's going to be sitting there for about 30 minutes staring at his freaking face, and he's going to get up, turn around, go up the aisle where the curtains meet the aisle, disappear, poof! The paranormal becomes the normal. That was my favorite saying from the ghost tour. Thanks, Mason. Craziness. And then apparently, now this is where things get really weird, okay? Because we're talking about a real Moaning Myrtle situation. Apparently in the women's restroom, there's a very unrested red woman, is what they call her, the lady in red. There's been so many reports of women going to use the women's restroom and having furious banging on their stall or pacing up and down and hearing loud noises in anger, saying, "Get out of my restroom." Couple theories I have about this. I think maybe this woman died of having to hold her pee so long, because Lord knows I've been there. I've definitely thought I was going to die of that 1 or 2 times in my lifetime. And I mean, if I died and I was still having that urge to pee, I would be so pissed off. I mean, she makes the towel dryers go on and off, turns the faucets on, bangs things around, terrifies people. They run out of there. They don't return. They're really freaked out, and I would be too. I mean, you're just trying to do your business. Also, another theory is maybe this ghost is just really bathroom shy, and she just hates people in her bathroom because she's constantly having to live in that moment of having to do her business, so people just keep interrupting her. Man, don't you hate when that happens? The men's restroom, coincidentally enough, is also a spot of activity, and strangely, the men's restroom is located precariously close to where that crack in the foundation is, where the man was entombed. Now, tour groups would get to that area of the men's restroom, and they would frequently have a man raise his hand and say, "Hey, can I go use the restroom?" Tour guide's like, "Yeah, go use the restroom." And then like minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes go by, and the tour guide's like, "God, they haven't come out of the bathroom yet." So they go in to look for them, and with no exits, no escape windows, or nothing, there's nobody in the bathroom. This happened so often, they realize, oh my God, that's a ghost. That's a ghost man that wants to go use the restroom. So when they would see this guy, they would follow him into the restroom, and I'll see that all of a sudden he was just gone. So my closing thoughts in the Catalina Casino, aka the Avalon. It's one of the most beautiful structures I've ever personally walked into. I teared up because I get emotional over these things. It's creepy, it's beautiful. If you ever have a chance to go, definitely go. Next week's episode's on another place on Catalina, because the place is just so wrought with death and history and ghosts and paranormal and really strange occurrences. And the island of Catalina really hates people talking about this. The Catalina Conservancy actually gets really pissed off. There's a ghost tour that goes on the island, which I took because, of course, and there's literally places they can't go stand in front of because people get so mad. They don't want to market Catalina, the island of death and bones. But go. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's deadly. It's creepy. It is glamorous. It's wrought with history. You'll feel like a star. And just try not to get grabbed by any ghosts or slapped by any. Huh. What's that? Is that a prelude? Is this a little taste about next week? Oh, yes, it is. Catalina Island, y'all. Happy Monday. Please subscribe, y'all. Have a drink. Share with fellow creeps. Let's have some fun. Let's get creepy. Have a good day. 5-second little apology on my behalf. I'm here editing right now, and I realize I've said y'all about 1,000 bajillion times, and I just want to say I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. Maybe don't drink gin and tonics. Decided that since I discovered myself, but otherwise, you have a great Monday, and I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye now. Oh, that's even worse.